Fam, what's good? What would your life be like right now if you had 1 million more dollars than what you have? What if you had a multi-million dollar portfolio of real estate assets? Or what if you was one trade away from an 8-figure year in the stock market? What would your life be like if you actually really did have the perfect relationship, the perfect job, the perfect children, right? What would life be like? In this video, I'm going to help you get to that answer and clear up some misconceptions along the way. What we're talking about is a state of being, okay? A state of being, a state of consciousness, awareness, who you are in the world, who you're showing up as. And you hear a lot of stuff around, acting as if, or playing the part of the person you desire to be, or fake it until you make it. You may not actually have the stuff, but fake it like you do, and then you will. I've never really been a fan of the language of fake it until you make it, because as you're faking it, you're aware that it's not real. And as I've mentioned in other videos, whatever vibration you're putting out, the universe is going to reflect that back to you. Now, there have been those who have seen success with it. Fact of the matter is, this is just my personal preference. I don't like the term of faking. I'd rather shift into a completely new state of beingness, right? Where in my mind, I am actually that one. Recognizing that no matter what I see in the world around me, it doesn't matter, because the only thing that does matter are my thoughts. My thoughts matter. They create matter. They form into matter in the material universe. So how do we go from believing that we are a thing to actually having the things, right? How do we go from believing we have $1 million to actually having $1 million? Again, the key is shifting your state of consciousness, or I'm using the term interchangeably, your state of being. The reason, or what your being is, right? If we could put a definition to it. There are those who say that being can't be defined because it just is. And it's true, right? At each and every moment of the day, you are being who and what you're being. You might be being upset. You might say something like, I am angry, or I am happy. In those moments, your state of beingness is angry or happy. I am sad. Your state of being, you are being sad, right? So how do we go from being poor, being broke, not having, to being rich, being wealthy, to being abundant? It's a little shift that has to take place upstairs, in the mind, in the workshop, in the imagination. That's where all transformation takes place. The Bible says, be ye transformed. Be completely, radically shifted by the renewing of your mind. You have to change it over, right? Renew it. Bring it back to the beginning. Bring it back to a point of zero balance. Not meaning it's off balance, but there's no oscillation, right? There's no back and forth. That 0 point energy, that stillness. We need to get our minds to that place and move from there. Our being, I like to define it, is the culmination, right? It's the complete and total outworking of our thoughts, feelings, and actions. Who we are being is a result of our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions. And it would be simple, right? Because if you're always being who and what you're being in any and every moment, then in each and every moment you're having thoughts, you're having feelings, and you're doing things, or you're not doing things, which also contributes to your state of being. So what you want to look at, what you want to begin to observe, are your thoughts, which creates your feelings. It's not the other way around. A lot of people think they feel stuff and then they think about what they felt. Again, the world we're dealing with is a mirror. We're observing, we're creating thoughts, judgments, we're having perceptions about it, and off of those thoughts and perceptions, that creates the feelings internally. So we need to look at our thoughts, observe the feelings, measure the actions. But it's not a direct line there, right? You have to reverse it when you want to get to the source of things. So the first thing you have to do is look at your life. Look at the results you're getting. If you don't have enough money, why don't you have enough money in your estimation? If you're not in a relationship you want to be in, why aren't you? If your children are misbehaving, if you don't have the job you like to have, if you're not fulfilling your calling or your purpose, or you're not working in the field that you desire to be in, why is that? What actions are you taking on the daily basis? And from there, right, once you sort of pinpoint those lever moving activities, right, those things that are moving you forward in this direction, then you can begin to slow it down. You begin to look around and you open yourself up for a pivot. So after you observe your actions, then you want to begin to look at, okay, what are my thoughts and feelings like? Am I enjoying myself? Am I living every day in an elevated state of vibration? Or am I low? Am I dull? Am I just getting by? Am I merely surviving? Am I enjoying myself, or am I hating life? That will begin to tell you a lot. And as you pinpoint these feelings, right, then you can trace them back to the thoughts. And you can ask yourself, okay, what would I have to think in order to feel this way about X? What would I have to think about my job in order to feel the way I do? What would I have to think about my coworkers, or my spouse, or my bank account, or my lack of opportunities? What do I have to think or in order to feel this way about whatever the situation is? And once you get your answers, again, you can go back inside and observe your thoughts. And then you can begin to shift your thinking. Because until you're aware of it, you can't change anything, right? All of this work, a lot of the things I'll talk about on this channel revolve around awareness, right? You won't be able to grow in this internal work, in this spiritual work, in this personal development, unless you cultivate awareness. And in order to do that, it requires us slowing down, listening, right? Shutting off the outside world for a few minutes every day, listening to what's going on internally, and from there, determining where and how we move. Because otherwise, we spend our life merely responding to the world around us. So how does this help us, right? How does this help us have what it is we're after, right? Because that's what a lot of people, especially here in the West, right? We want to have stuff. We want to have money. We want to have the relationship. We want to have the car, the house, the job, right? We want to have these things. And all these things are great. I'm collecting myself. But the fact of the matter is you don't get the stuff and then become the person. Okay? A lot of people think that, oh, if I hit the lottery, then I'll become a millionaire. No, you could have $2,500 million and that still won't make you a millionaire, for the simple reason that being a millionaire is a state of mind. A millionaire carries themselves a particular way. They view money a particular way. They view their families a particular way. They have their own perspectives and thoughts about work, about jobs, about people, about the world in general, right? They're approaching life in a way completely foreign to you. Ask me how I know. Because if you did see the world the same way, you'd probably be a millionaire too. And that's okay. Man, this is a truth I've had to sit with myself. It's been one of my prayers for years. Lord, make me a millionaire. Lord Jesus, I want to be a billionaire, right? But that's not how things go down. The infinite is not going to make us a millionaire simply because we ask it to. We must go through this training and development to get from where we are to where it is we desire to be. And we can't map that route because we don't know the way there. Spirit does, though. So you can go back and watch my video when I talk about creation and imagination and how the mechanics of this actually kind of works a little bit. Not going to go into it here. But suffice it to say, yes, create the vision, spirit will lead the way. Now, as far as actually obtaining these material possessions, right? Once we begin to shift our focus in life, our thoughts, our feelings, we notice that our actions begin to change. It'll probably be, most likely, right? Most likely, as you begin to think about these things, spirit will drop certain inspirations on you. You'll have new ideas. You'll have new thoughts. You'll begin to do new things. And in doing those new things, you can't help but get new and different results. Right? You expect to 10x your income in a year by doing the same thing that you've been doing the last 5, 10, 15 years when your income's been where it is. That's not the law, my friends. The law is you get in what you put out. Now, thankfully, there are certain levers that we can pull and certain actions we can take to create those exponential results. But we first have to shift our thinking and our perspective. Because when we're looking at life from a new vantage point, we'll see new opportunities. We'll be open to new arenas and things that have always been there, but were closed off to us because it was just out of our peripheral vision, right? We had no awareness of it. But when we gain a higher perspective, we gain a new awareness. And that's what we're after. Because one thing that you'll find out, having money is not having money. Having money is a state of peace. It's a state of contentment. And there's a confidence and a surety that comes with it. Because you could have, somebody can drop $10,000 on you right now and it's not going to make you any happier. But what it's going to do is going to make you recognize, oh snap, if any bills pop off, I can take care of it. Car loses a tire, I can get one right away, right? That creates a peace. That creates a stillness. And what I want to leave you with is that key right there. That's one thing that wealthy individuals aren't doing when you look at their lives compared to those living in struggle mode, those who are scraping by to survive. Those with money, they're not worried. And you might say, oh, it's because they have the money. I beg to differ. Right? There's a peace, or when this peace arrives, right? When you learn to tap into this, when you stop fighting so hard to survive, you allow spirit to begin to work through you and for you. And out of that peace, new thoughts will come. And when those new thoughts come, you'll begin to have new ideas and take new and different actions. Although the circumstances haven't changed immediately because you've decided to be more peaceful about it, the entire situation becomes new. And in that state of peace and that state of tranquility, you can look out on your world and recognize first and foremost that everything's okay. And that's truly what we desire. Let's elevate.